How's it going? Glad everyone can join us. Today is Thursday, November the 16th, 2023. Quick disclaimer. I'd just like to say that nothing that's said in this stream is financial advice. It is for entertainment and education purposes only. We have a really good show for you today. Thanks for joining us. We have Chart and Instylus from dgenz NFT project. And we also have some news on crypto.com and, of course, all the highlights and everything else in the crypto market. So stick with us for the next hour or so and enjoy, sit back, grab a bevy, and enjoy the show. How you doing, Mr. Dip?
Doing well. Things are looking really good on the traditional side of things. So, and on the crypto side of things. So it's
except for today, a little bit of a dip.
Good times are to come. Good times are to come.
Okay, well, let's get right into the market watch. I'll start off with the coin market cap as usual. Okay, we'll start off with Bitcoin. Currently at 36,135, 4.5, just over 4.5% down today. We have Ethereum coming in at 1,960, a dip below that 2,000 mark for the first time in a little while. It was holding that pretty strong. We got BNB 242.67, XRP at 61 cents. That one's actually down 5.7%. And then Solana is at 57.86. It's had quite the run in the last few weeks. It's still up almost 30% on the week, but currently down today 11.8%. See, we got Cardano sitting in at 37 cents, Dogecoin at 7.9 cents, Polygon Matic 84 cents. It's had a pretty good run, but today down 8%. AVAX, it's gone on a crazy run in the last 7 days. It's up almost 70%, and today even it's up 5% for the day. So it's doing really, really well. Let's see, we got Shiba, one of your favorites, 6 zeros. Is that 6? 5 zeros, 8493. It's down 3.5 for the day, but up over 3% for the week. One other one, where are we? I'm going to mention Crow this week. Crow is sitting in at 9 cents, 9.6 cents currently. So it's not doing too bad. I'll go over now to some of the dGem projects and other cryptos I'm going to start mentioning each week. Okay, Furio, shame on you, Furio, 2 cents. Not doing a whole lot. Seems to be stuck there. Like I said last week, I'm going to keep mentioning it until it completely goes to zero. We got Tonic, 6 zeros, 1838. It's only down, 2% on the day, but it's been up for the week. It's doing pretty good. Switch, which I added last week, is sitting at 0072. Elephant Money, one of the DeFi projects that's actually pretty strong and doing well. It's the only one that I'm, really going to mention, except for shame on you and Drip, because those are failures and I'm waiting for them to die. But currently at 6 zeros, 4190 for Elephant Money. Now, two new tokens that I added
are zombies at this point.
Yeah, they're not really doing much at all. I don't know what's going on with the ecosystem. I know Drip was trying to make a comeback and adding a few extra utilities, but clearly it's not doing anything. They're barely moving 1% each day, up or down. But two tokens that I've added to this list. One is called Aurora, which I will go over in detail in a few minutes here. And then Super, short for Super Farm. One of the big YouTubers in the space, Elio Trades. That's a crypto project that he put together. It involves the gaming industry and everything to do with crypto gaming, onboarding, and stuff like that. And I followed it last year when he launched it, and it did pretty good. It was toward the end of the bull market, so it didn't really get a chance to run up, and it got decimated in the bear market, much like everything else did. So it was at super low prices, and I thought, you know what, this is one I'm going to keep an eye on because the gaming industry is definitely not going anywhere. And so I thought that would be a perfect one to keep an eye on as the bull market approaches. So those are the two new ones, and Aurora currently sitting at 10 cents. It's actually up almost 5.5 on the day and 15 on the week. Oh, just jumped up 6.5 for today. And then Super is down 5% on the day, but like I said, I'm going to keep an eye on that one. I think it's going to do well. And then lastly, Momentum, the project where they mine down in Paraguay. It's at 81 cents, and it is up 1.5%. Let's take a quick look at the Bitcoin chart. Okay, as you can see here, I've got a couple of support resistance lines and a trend line, obviously, and I'm not going to go into too much detail with TA on Bitcoin. I just like showing this chart each week, so you can see that it's making higher highs, higher lows. At one point here, it almost broke structure and created a lower low, but it actually found support right on that line, and it continued up. Currently, like I said earlier, Bitcoin's at 36,139, kind of toying with that area. Me personally, I believe we're going to have a bit of a pullback now. The market has been really overheated, but anything can happen. These are crazy times. Money is finally starting to flood in, a lot of it from institution, not so much from retail, but once the retail does, that's when it's really going to take off. And I'm sure we'll get some more opinions and ideas in the roundtable on Bitcoin and the crypto market overall. But
sorry.
Yeah, no, I think go ahead. I was just going to say that's the crypto market. Did you want to add anything in traditional market?
No, I do want to add to the traditional market, but just a final thought on that Bitcoin comment. I think it's a good time to be very, very cautious because traditional TA, you got a lot of divergences and everything going on, and a lot of people are expecting a dip, and I guess percentage-wise, you should. But the thing that kind of makes me nervous about where we are right now when trading that is it's a lot of institutional movement in the market, and until we see weekends stop flatlining, retail's in to kind of pick up the bull market and keep going. And the traditional guys, they know all the TA and they have the funds to counter trade it. So it's a good time to sit back and watch, even though it's hard to miss out on gains or a nice short or anything else. But it's really, really coming across as a little too risky to me right now. I think it's a good time to just let some things play out and see where we're going. We've had a big, big pump for the whole year.
Yeah.
And it could go farther, or it could do what it's supposed to do and cool down a little bit. And
well, I'm still holding you to your prediction. You're not going to let that one live it down anyway.
Well,
we'll wait till the end of the year.
Yeah, that's why I'm exercising that big caution when it's looking like you should be setting up your shorts. It could just be counter traded and get bought up, right?
We'll see.
So
we'll see what happens.
I'm sticking to it, right?
Okay, should we jump into headlines? Get the show moving here?
I'll do a little bit of
you want to do your traditional
market here. There's not much to say, and then I'll probably go on a little bit of a tangent before we move on to headlines, and then
all right, looking forward to it.
So this week I'm just going to show the S&P through the QQQ ETF. The market has almost completely recovered. It's only 5.7% down from where it was at the peak before interest rates started having their effect on the market. So that's some positive news. Everything seems to be moving along well. There would have been, for new investors this year, you would have had some really nice gains. And then as for my tangent, since we've started this stream and you're getting into conversations with people about what you're up to, and then you mentioned the stream and talking about finance and crypto and everything else. I came to the realization that me continuingly talking about hold assets are key, blah blah blah, might be a little far ahead of where most people are, because something that keeps coming up is tax-free savings accounts for us in Canada. And I guess the US equivalent would be a Roth IRA or a 401k, which the actual use for them is to be able to have a tax-free space for you to be able to buy and sell stocks and essentially not create a taxable event inside this account. And everybody that's talking about them is using them to save cash, which is probably the worst thing you can do, considering that during prosperous times in finance, you got 2% inflation a year. That's usually the goal, no matter where you are in the world, 2% inflation in prosperous times, and we're way ahead of that. And then, you do the math on that, and if you were to hold cash in that savings account for 20 years, you've lost 40% of your purchasing power, and it's really scary to think that when you're talking to people that will be going into retirement and everything else, like even if there isn't a major financial crisis, which generally every decade you get one, where people are going to be.
Sorry to cut you off. One of the problems, though, is people just don't understand how inflation works and what exactly it does to the dollar. And that's the problem.
Yeah, and they see things as they're getting more expensive, but actual products aren't getting more expensive. The purchasing power of your dollar is worth less by keeping it in circulation. So like you get these accounts and they're absolutely perfect for lining up any dividend paying investment. So you can sit and just compound over and over and over and over again without creating any tax burden on yourself at all. And then you have the non-registered investment funds, which you can keep your individual equities like Tesla and Microsoft or whatever you want to hold that's going to be innovative in the future, and own your part of a company that's got the best management team in the world. But yeah, I think it's really, really important. I remember making a joke when we were doing the Twitter Spaces about in 2018, if you were to dump your life savings in rocks, in 2023, you would have like more than doubled your money. And that was a fact. Like by holding cash, you're hurting yourself. And then like in a traditional market, I mentioned Fed talk and how they're generally manipulated, but it's usually to manipulate a 10% average gain a year in the market. So that gives you an 8% increase in your purchasing power. So over that same amount of time, 20 years, like your purchasing power has gone up 160% by not even compounding anything, just holding instead of just having your money evaporate sitting in a bank account. Like that's the actual meaning to cash is trash. And I don't know, I just wanted to really mention that. I do skim on some stuff when we're on stream here, but we are mainly crypto. But there's a whole lot of people that are searching for dollars when they shouldn't be, because that's just going to burn you in the end. It's control. Banks don't want you knowing it. They offer you the account, but they want you to have that cash so they can take that and invest it in treasury bonds and then go bankrupt in a financial crisis.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, and anyone that knows anything about finances, they understand exactly what you're saying. But like I said, the unfortunate part, there's a lot of people that just don't understand how finances work. They don't understand how inflation works, and they've never given it a second thought because it's never come up in their life. So all they know is that they try to save. Things are getting more expensive, so they think, and like you said, it's just the dollar value, the buying power decreasing. But a lot of people just don't understand that.
Yeah, it's something that really, really shook me when I actually got in depth and talking how people are actually so invested in saving actual dollars instead of keeping it in any sort of hedge to maintain its value over time.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I was one of those guys, 3-4 years ago. And, I credit you. You're one of the ones that opened my eyes to it, to make me really understand that side of things. Because I was in the same boat as most people that, just try to save as much as you can, budget, do all the things you would normally do. You don't even consider that your buying power is decreasing and investing in certain things. Never crossed my mind. This is one of the purposes of this channel, is to try to get that information out there. So yeah, thank you for that. It's important that people understand that.
Yeah, I'm excited for this channel. Like, we will get better. It's real hard talking to a camera with a lot of but hopefully we're getting better every week. And I thank the people that do stick with us every week. And I'll get more into different financial tricks and tips, because another big part of it is how not to be paying half of your income in taxes and everything else. Like, there are legit ways to go about it, and at a certain point you can even consider yourself a business and get even more breaks when it comes to the financial system. And this even applies to crypto as well. Like, your goal to investing is never to sell. A lot of people go, okay, yeah, I got Bitcoin, and when it gets to $1 million, I'm set. Are you, if you sell it? No, because now you're back in cash that's depreciating faster than you can spend it.
Yeah.
So,
but you do need cash to buy things. So
yeah, well, that's the thing. But when you have the assets to back you, then the cash comes for free. You're not donating your time anymore for the cash flow to be able to do the things you want. And yeah, hopefully we can I'll learn to articulate it a bit better, and we'll go through it.
We'll go through that in a little bit,
and hopefully improve people's lives. Because
we'll go through that in a little more detail in another show, because that could be an entire show in itself.
Oh, exactly. So
yeah,
let's move on to headline.
Yeah. Let's move on, because we've got some guests that I can't wait to get to.
Yes,
Chart and
I
Instylus,
apologize for keeping them waiting.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't mind. It's interesting for anyone to know. Okay, so let's go through the headlines real quick. I just want to skim through this. I was going to touch on a few crypto.com things. I think I'll save that for next week as well. But I do want to get through these headlines, and then we can get on to the guests for the day. Okay, so these are ones I usually get off of Guru Watcher. They're quick snippets on the things that are going on in the crypto market and traditional market. So first one, BlackRock says that USDT and USDC stablecoins pose risks to Bitcoin. That's a never-ending title. We hear that almost every other week, it seems. Stablecoins bad, stablecoins bad. That seems to be the narrative every time you think the market's going to turn around, and you get slapped in the back of the head with another stablecoins bad rumor. Anyway, China's largest board and card game company are to acquire $90 million worth of Bitcoin and Ethereum. There's no timeline as to when that's going to happen, but that's very bullish if that does indeed take place. Let's see, U.S. inflation. They had the numbers this past week. It falls to 3.2%, lower than expected, 3.3%, which is good. It means, the economy is strengthening. But in contrast, Argentina's inflation rises to 143%. I find that that was mind-blowing to think 143% inflation. Could you imagine? That could cripple any economy. Now, for those
an economy that is crippled.
Well, yeah, it already is, exactly. Now, for those of you that recognize the name Michael Burry, it should. He was the guy that, his fame was The Big Short. If anyone remembers that, he made quite a call and made quite a bit of money way back when. Well, he had been in a short position, actually, for, I believe it's been the last 4 or 5 months. And it's just, obviously, everyone knows what happened to the market. It didn't go down. It went up. So he basically closed his short position at a 40% loss, which equated to almost $100 million. He used to be a billionaire, and now his expected net worth has gone down to $900 million. So it looks like Michael Burry's streak of predicting, quote unquote, I say that word loosely, comes to an end, which good on him. Because I remember when he opened that short and I was thinking, oh man, this is either going to be really, really good or really, really bad. Well, it was really, really bad for him. Chinese home price.
The only truth when it comes to investing is you cannot predict a market.
No.
That's the only truth. So other than that, you're gambling if you're trying to do that.
I'm glad you used that word, the word gambling, because that seems to be the word that comes to mind for me now whenever I think of the DeFi space. Anyway, moving on, I digress. Chinese home prices are on their decline. It's been the fastest decline rate there in 8 years. So I don't know if that's going to translate over to North America, but let's hope it starts happening in Canada, because the prices for homes right now in Canada are just outrageous. I know they're pretty high in the States as well, but up here in Canada, they're incredibly crazy. See, Tether, this was something I saw today. They're planning to invest about $500 million over the next 6 months to become one of the world's largest Bitcoin miners. I thought that was kind of interesting, going back to my stablecoin comment. Tether has always been on the block. There's always been rumors that Tether's going to die, or get regulated and this and that. So this is nice to see. They plan on doing some investments outside of just their own stablecoin. Couple of quick highlights here. Biden is trying to rekindle the U.S.-China relationship. I thought, good on Biden. I'm not sure how much rekindling he can do. I don't even think he can form a sentence these days.
As long as he doesn't have any stickers, he'll be all right.
Meta, they were given permission to allow election rigged ads. I'm not sure what that's all about, but I guess we'll find out on Facebook or Instagram. Meta, Starlink, $90 million Mexico contract, which is bullish. See, the Senate stopgap was approved, and this one would excite you probably, Dip. SpaceX has got FAA approval, which I'm sure that it makes you bullish. And GM stops public road operations. I'm not sure exactly what that is. And the SEC delay the hashtag spot ETF. And let's see. Now I'm just going to share my screen here. I'm going to quickly go to... there we go. Where are we? Okay. This is the Cointelegraph headlines page that I'm going to start using each week. It kind of goes over the main highlights and main points in the crypto market. So I'll skim through these. Okay. So BTC price dips 4% as Bitcoin analysis reveals low liquidity above 33K, which I've heard a few people say that actually, that the liquidity is not just not up there. Now Bitcoin enters a make or break zone after BTC price snaps back to 38, and it is actually now currently back down to 36. Some expect crypto companies to fail in the wake of Bitcoin's halving. I can see that because, as you know, the halving, cuts supply and makes mining Bitcoin a lot harder. So mining companies for sure could be under the gun for that one, or under the knife. Solana, Avalanche, and DYXY or DDX, produced double-digit gains as Bitcoin reclaims 37. And then why is Bitcoin's price up today? That was actually yesterday. But so basically, that's highlights. We won't go over too many more of the headlines. Just gonna stop my screen. There we go. Wow. Okay. Now, one other thing I did want to mention is crypto.com. We'll just go through this quick. You and I both like crypto.com. It's actually one of the exchanges that I use often, and I still do. It was kind of like the gateway exchange for me when I first got into crypto, because it was easy to onboard fiat and buy pretty much hundreds of cryptos that they had on their site. They also do yield farming, which on their site is called Earn. You can earn different APYs for different cryptocurrencies, and they also have an online exchange. So they've got the mobile app and exchange, which are two separate entities. But one of the biggest things about crypto.com is the onboarding and offboarding. They offer a crypto.com credit card. different tiers, different colors like the ruby and the blue, which you can see back here on the shelf. I actually have one. Now, that one there, you don't need to hold any crow, but they do have different tiers where the more crow you hold and stake or put in their earning, you can get the higher tier card. And another thing that's bullish about Crypto.com is they were actually recently admitted into the World Economic Forum, which I thought was really cool. And I'm sure anybody that's in the crypto space, they know that Crypto.com has got their own arena and they're really closely tied to like UFC and other sports. So they're really making a name for themselves. And I know you're very bullish on Crypto.com.
Yeah, they threw up this past bear market when a lot of other companies were getting fudded and hurt. Any FUD that went towards Crypto.com was pretty much just brushed off their shoulder, and they continued business as usual. I've had nothing but good experience with them, even using their NFT space, and that if something went wrong, you're refunded within a day, no questions asked. It's their customer service is, it's hard to get a hold of a person, but even just through messaging systems, they correct really, really quick. And I've never been left out of pocket for anything that wasn't my fault. So I have some high hopes coming in the future that Crypto.com is going to end up being the big exchange on the block instead of the Binances or the Coinbases. They
Agreed.
need to be able to withstand all the pressures, so they're obviously managing stuff on their end properly.
You mentioned their NFT marketplace, which they also do have, and it's integrated basically into their app. That's actually where, kind of my gateway into the NFT space was through the Crypto.com NFT marketplace. There was a time when it was buying jpeg and you hold them. It was bragging rights. They didn't really have much utility. It's funny. I have close to 200 still on my Crypto.com marketplace account, and recently I've actually sold a couple of them, which might be an indication that the interest in NFTs is returning, which is really nice to see. I know yourself, you have a little bit of experience with NFTs.
Yeah, and I actually have had some offers on some old OpenSea NFTs that I was holding, and actually forgot I even had. So I agree with you that interest is starting to spark up again in that space. And yeah, my experience I find the tech extremely interesting. Just the whole smart contract aspect to it, that you can back end it with. The possibilities beyond what we've seen are kind of mind-blowing, to be honest. I know I did put together a little crypto project that didn't sell anything, but I just wanted to be part of that space. So I took the time and I did a bunch of computer editing and did a bunch of images by hand and used 3D models to pose and everything else. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, and they're still sitting there on chain. And if I ever find some utility for them in the future, I'll be able to use them.
Well, speaking of utility, I mean, NFTs have evolved. There's so many use cases, but our guest tonight, actually a good time to bring them up. It's a pleasure to have them on the program. We have Chart and Instylus from the dgenz project. They are going to explain what they have going on and showing that NFTs can actually have utility. Welcome to the show, Chart and Instylus. How are you?
Welcome.
Hi, guys. Can you
Hi.
hear me? Well, you have such a nice setup. I really enjoy how you guys set it up with all the streams on different platforms. Thank you so much for inviting us. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you for being here.
I'm not really too much about crypto. This will be Chart's talk. I'm about NFTs because I don't really understand much crypto.
She's here. I know.
Hi, Chart.
Hey, Chart, how are you?
How's it going, Instylus? Long time no hear.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's such a I was talking about my experience that I'm actually not too much into crypto and I'm learning just because I'm dealing with you all the time. It happened that I'm an art director and artist, and we derugged a dgenz project last year. This project was left after FTX crash by the founder, and we just love the art and we love the community. That was the main point to save the project. So Char took a lead, and there was a team of 5 people, and over this year is only 3 on the team left. But for various reasons, it's very hard to push in this bear market. People need to have IRL jobs, everybody has families. So we are fortunate that we had this opportunity to actually push this project forward. And we completely changed it because we could not provide the utility that was promised by our original founder. They were planning some kind of gamified experience. But after they left, we didn't have devs, we didn't have idea how to do this. So we actually talked to our community, realized that community is not the youngsters, this is mostly the community of investors over 30, people who are interested in crypto, people who are serious about investments, actually completely different of what the original founder was. I don't know. I don't even know how this crowd ended up being in this project, but it was perfect because Chart has this amazing knowledge of crypto markets, and he will be talking about himself, but I will introduce him. He already went through a couple bull runs before, I think all of them since the beginning. He has a proper education, and he just knows things from the experience and from the theory. He has knowledge in fundamental analysis and technical analysis. And this is what our community wanted. They wanted to actually have someone to talk to, and to discuss and to understand where they are moving in this market. So we changed completely this project.
Yeah, Chart was definitely the perfect pick because you spend 5 minutes talking with him and you realize that he knows this space, and it's a pleasure to get info and insights from him. So Chart, tell us a little bit about how you got into this crypto space, a little bit about your journey, and then lead into the dgenz project.
You guys are so nice. Appreciate the comments. Getting to the NFT space was such a novel idea for me, right? It was basically something that came out of nowhere. I personally missed the DeFi stages of the last bear cycle, and I kind of saw this on the periphery. I had a few guys tell me there's new technology coming out, it's called NFTs and blah, blah, blah. So I looked into it. I never thought for a second that I would be so immersed into this. As soon as I got into it, and kind of took over. It was mainly because not just the art itself, but the sense of community. I guess with the people that have like-minded conversations and interests. It's very difficult to actually find a lot of people that are into crypto in your surroundings, in your real life, and things like that. So, for example, I can't really talk in detail with friends of mine about crypto. They'll just ask me on the cusp of the end of the bull run, hey, should I buy Shiba? And then I'm like, well, thanks for talking to me for the last 2 years, right? We could have talked about Shiba before it ran, And so for me, it was really taken back by the sense of community within this project itself. I bought a bunch of rugs myself beforehand. I bought a whole bunch of ETH rugs, and I minted a whole bunch of things that I'd never understood. I never understood their utility. I don't even understand their purpose. I like the artwork. I like the fact that you can mint something. I like the technology. But the whole sense of, buying into a project and see where it can go led me to basically dgenz, or it used to be called dgenz Voice. And the founder he was, I don't know, a little bit, how should we describe him, Instylus? You were there. He was forthcoming to a point where you thought he was doing a good deed for everybody, but in fact he was thinking about rugging altogether. The actual mint was, I think it was I want to say 0.15 or 19, something very, very small. It was basically a dgen mint. And they raised a little bit of funds. I think they sold like 5,000 NFTs. And so they used the capital to pretty much copy everything else that was going on in the space, which is basically, you create a platform for your staking, right? You provide some kind of utility for the NFT by providing native SPL tokens. And then you raffle off some NFTs that are going to be zero anyway, because nobody, I guess, has an idea where things are going to go. So it kind of went by the wayside around November of last year. Was it last year? Yeah, November of last year. And we knew right away. Once we started hearing nothing from the devs, nothing from the founder, we're like, oh, here we go. And so one of the things that kind of bothered me is that, we can't keep the cycle going, We can't let these really good communities go to waste. And so we kind of bandied together as much as possible in a short amount of time, the people that were really interested in saving the project. And, Instylus was actually there for maybe a couple months before he rugged us. But it was well worth finding her in the group because honestly, she's the backbone of what we do right now. And without her, we couldn't even get to where we are. Honestly, because in the initial stages of derugging the project, it was very, very difficult because, you still have to get control of the whole project. You have your wallet authority you have to get a control of. You have to, if you have a dgen token, for example, you have to get a control of that. Do you have access to the fundings or the funds website? If you have control of the website, like there's a lot of things that have to be handed over. Even like Discord, for example, or the socials, right? They still have all the information regarding all of the socials. So we had to somehow find a way to let them hand it over to us, and they willfully did. But it took a lot of aches and pains over the course of like 2-3 months just to get some semblance of control over the project. And dealing with a dev was not easy, let me tell you. Instylus can definitely share some stories about that, but and then from then on, it was pretty much easy. Trying to formulate a group of people that were willing to sacrifice their time and efforts once a week to meet and talk about how we're going to move forward with the project, what kind of value we're going to bring to each individual person that's holding an NFT. And don't forget, we started basically with zero funding, right? And having to shell out our own money just to keep things afloat. And so it is very difficult. And that's why, when I see people trying to direct projects, I go, you understand what you're getting into, right? You're basically going to disappoint everybody because everyone's going to just try to be, they're looking for exit liquidity, right? Because they know that most likely this ship is going to sink over the course of the next year or whatever. And so you're pretty much giving them money to exit the market. And so how do you keep everybody interested in the project? What kind of utility can you provide that's unique, right? You don't want to be copy and pasting everybody's utility. So one of the things we leaned into is basically just my experience in the market and experience in crypto through education, through coaching, through showing how to trade and how to assess markets, and kind of leaned into all the experience we have. And it's kind of where we got today, I'll be honest with you.
Well, I'm sure your community is thankful because, there's no worse feeling than when a project just rugs on you or the owners give up or anything like that. Now, anyone that has not been involved with a project before, you really don't understand the amount of work that it takes. Myself, I've been involved with a couple in the DeFi space, so I know what it's all about. I actually did a minor not too long ago, ran it myself with a few members of the team. So it's not easy to do. And like you said, keeping your community happy and finding that fine balance, it's not an easy thing to do. So kudos on that. Now you have a current mint going on, which ends soon. Would you like to give some information on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of the things we ended up discussing is, how do we bring funding into the project starting from zero, right? So we don't rely on our own pockets, but rather that we can kind of raise and then work with that. And that's part of what we decided with the dgen Girls Mint. Partly it would be funding for the project, partly it would be using your money, your capital to invest into the market. And this is how we went about selling the idea of this mint. It's not like anything else you'll ever mint on Solana, for example. Most of the Solana projects mint with the idea of something happening down the road. We actually take your capital and invest it. We really want you to succeed in the market. And this is an excellent way to do that, especially leaning on my experience and expertise. Especially like we've kind of like built our Discord around this mint as well. We have certain sections within our Discord that kind of showcase the performance of the portfolio. It showcases exactly which tokens and which projects we buy. And we needed to make sure that people understand, we can't keep this mint on forever. We have to at some point close it, because it's really unfair to those who had done the buying in the pre-sale rounds and in the early stages of the mint. And so we have decided to close the mint on December 1st. And so really the FOMO in making sure that you have your own capital and that you use it properly will set in. And I think, after closing the mint on December, people will start to understand that, they missed it, and now I can't really do anything about that. We can't really reopen it for you. So the urgency is there, and I think people are starting to realize that.
Okay, that's for those that aren't able to watch the stream live and you're going to listen to the recording. We will have all of the links in the description for the Mint page as well as their Discord. Now, what you guys are doing is amazing. Chard, I've listened to you do, TA and talk about the market and stuff like that, which is amazing. You're one of those guys that seems to be quite level-headed. You don't do the analysis by paralysis like a lot of people do. They get a vision in their head of which way the market's going to go, and they make their charts and their predictions, or sorry, not their prediction, but their TA fit their narrative. But you are. You're one that you're just reading the charts. You see, exactly what you see is what you say, and that's one thing I enjoy listening to and seeing. And with your project, with the dgenz, and anyone who does mint the girls, their funds are in good hands. So anyone that's interested in minting a dgenz girls, the link will be in the description. Now, Instylus, I want to ask you. You had mentioned you're more on the creative side. How long, what was your journey getting into this part of creativity, into the crypto side?
Yeah, I am actually really new to Web3 space. I didn't have any bull run yet. So I started last year, I was working in corporate world and also did art and design there. And started in Web3 NFT space, lost so much money on such a stupid projects. Sometimes I wonder what I was thinking.
We've all been there.
Yeah, of course. The start was rough, but it was interesting, and then I all of a sudden bought this dgen boy for half of Solana and started to chat in chats. And then all of a sudden this project rocks after FTX, like everything else. And all of a sudden, I meet Chard. So that happened, series of events. And then Chard and a couple other people, other members, started to talk about derugging this project. I had no idea what I'm going into. And being a responsible person, being a person who worked in corporate world, I started to set up meetings. I started to bug them about strategy. I'm constantly asking Chart, what's your goal? How do we align this project to your goal? And all other members, so I'm bugging them a lot. They hate it. And then this several months we were doing this work, and I was forcing them to meet every week, rain or shine, and they do this. And step by step we started to build dgens because we couldn't deliver the initial utility. We started to look for other things, and then it turned out that I didn't know that Chart would be so great in educating people, in having this amazing spaces. And we started to do spaces every week. The community started to feel much better, So by March, I think we started last year, exactly a year ago, And by March, 3 months after Dirag, it was a completely different project. Project focused on education, on crypto. Charles built this dgenz crypto network. This is one of the sections of our Discord, and this is what he mentioned, that we have different sections. So our boys, dgen boys, actually are for active traders. If you have 5 dgen boys or 2 radiated boys, you can access dgenz crypto network, have full access to the Chartmasters channels, where they discuss actually crypto every single day. You can ask questions every single day. Whatever you're paying in crypto, bring it in. And we connect servers across Solana. Right now, many projects are in. So this is amazing because you don't have to leave your project server to ask crypto-related question. You can just go to dgenz crypto network if it's installed in your project, and you can reach out and Chart will respond from dgenz server. And this is what we were doing initially. That was like for active traders. But then I guess my pain as a user came out because I was telling Chart, please help me out. I have no idea where to invest. Maybe I even have a little money left after my NFT journey, but I don't know how to do this. And we realized that many people actually miss out right now on crypto just because they don't understand, or they walk in and they put money into something and right away it goes down, or they spend so much money on fees, like on Ethereum fees, and just go into minus. And then we decided to try something like dgen girls. Dgen girls is perfect for me because I feel that this investment is in right hands. Chart is working in several projects. He's building his name. He's actually really reliable, and I can definitely say this because I've been working with him the whole year already. And I know that him managing this dgen girls fund is amazing. This is a balanced portfolio. This is not dgen portfolio. He actually very well balanced the whole thing. We have.
Don't let the name fool you.
Actually, I will ask Chart to talk a little bit of dgen's portfolio because I'm not that good in this, but it's just for people who are not really confident in crypto. This is perfect to mint girls, and after this, forget about it for 1 year and come back to the profit. And you can be sure that the profits will be there, because if you look at the charts, right now he conservatively estimated return of investment for 4x. This is nothing if you look at the charts and at the portfolio. The portfolio that he collected already is amazing. It's just fantastic. Chart, would you want to talk a little bit about the how you allocated assets?
I just want to say first, anyone, I can attest to the Discord. There's a lot of education in there. And anytime anyone has a question or something they want to know about, it's answered, and it's answered truthfully. Now, Chart, before you go ahead, the dgen girls mint, what is the price of that? And it is Solana, correct?
Correct. So what we ended up doing is we set out the same price when Solana was $20 and when Solana was $60. So essentially what happens is we take 80% of your funds or the capital that's minted. We put it in the markets. So one of the things we talked about in our space that happened today was we talked about the possibility of actually maximizing the current situation at hand, which means, if Solana is at $60 or whatever it is now, you could actually mint the girl, right? Let us take that Solana price, or Solana 3.5 Solana, and convert it into USDC or USDT. And then we can wait for this drawdown that's going to happen in December and early January. We can maximize your funds this way, right? But the reason why we didn't change the price is because we're utilizing the money this way, right? We're not really taking the money and then buying platforms or buying SPL tokens on the market. We're actually considering properly distributing the funds towards a very balanced portfolio. When you think about buying a whole bunch of different tokens, you got to pick the correct baskets or sectors. In particular, like AI sector and the GameFi sector are very much of interest to me. And I'm looking at the sectors that haven't had any bull runs or that haven't had any performances over the last 3 to 4 years. So we're focusing on that. And then, of course, to balance that out, we have to have some layer one. We focused on adding Cardano and Polkadot, since both of them haven't had too much of a beating in the last bear cycle. So unlike other major layer ones like Harmony, and there's like what was that, Tezos, and what's the other one? And nevertheless, so we wanted to make sure that if we're buying these layer ones will have some staying power. And so when we're allocating our funds, we're kind of proportionally thinking about, okay, well, if we're going to have a lot of allocation to our layer ones, what are we looking at for other baskets and sectors? And I think we covered our ground pretty well. We bought a whole bunch of things that I find are interesting. We're not really getting to like the meme sector. I know people like to dabble with that, but I think it's way too degen for us, even for us, right? Yeah. Exactly. It feels like gambling. So we want to get away from that. But for the most part, we're looking at the AR and VR sector, the GameFi, like I mentioned, the IoT, which a lot of people don't even know exists anymore because we're so deep into the crypto sphere, right? Because I remember at one point IoT it was the thing, And then there's music as well. Music is a sector that's also on tap.
Yeah.
And with the invention of NFTs, I think they're utilizing NFTs to kind of crowdsource and crowdfund a lot of these artists. And it's really, really interesting what they're doing in music sector. So this is what I mean by like a balanced approach. We want to make sure that we kind of cover our areas to make sure in the event of a bull run, we are going to be, leading the pack in some way, right? Otherwise, you're just putting too much weight into one sector or the other.
Very well diversified. Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate all the information on your project on dgenz, girls and boys. So just to reiterate, the Mint link will be down in the description, as well as the Discord link for anyone that wants to get involved. I think, what do we have? Right around 10 minutes to go. I think we should bring Juan up and do the roundtable section. I did want to get your input on Solana itself. It's no secret to anyone that knows me and anyone that watches these streams that Solana is one of, if not my favorite crypto. There's a lot going on. I've been praising Solana, all the way back in the depths of the bear. And when Solana had that major dip because of the FTX fiasco, I loaded up. And I'm not going to lie, there was a lot of people that laughed at me and snarked, but who's laughing now? But I do want to get your take on Solana as a whole and where you see it going in this bull market. And then we can continue with the other guests. Now we're doing the roundtable section.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think Solana is going to be one of those assets that is going to turn into like Apple, right? It's going to have like a shine of an Apple product. Clearly, it's the fastest network so far. It has infrastructure, right? Now it has some kind of history. There's a lot of development on it. There's a lot of DeFi on it, right? And now companies, Web2 companies are taking notice, right? I think there's a partnership recently with Visa. They're trying to process payments through Solana. So there's a lot of things fundamentally going well for it. And I think it has staying power. So over the course of the next 10 years, it will be there, just like XRP is there. So by not buying at $8, it was a mistake, heavy mistake for anybody who wasn't buying. The only issue now is because it basically quadrupled since October.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's an issue with that, right? Technically speaking, we have to have a dip at some point. Because, one of the rules of trading is if you have a proper dip, like a 50% retracement or retraction, you can go higher, much, much higher. So I think for the rest of November and December, we should see a significant dip in Solana. Like I think most of the cryptos will get a significant dip. But I mentioned like in our space today, the possible buy-ins on Solana are sitting at about $43. And the second one would be at about $37. So if anyone's thinking about getting a good dip on Solana, wait, be patient. you can definitely get a good price on it. But
Chart has a good way of addressing before I get to ask him, because I was just about to say that, dude, ask him if he felt it was in a bit of a bubble territory.
It is. Even though, like, I think, like I mentioned many times with people, they're asking me, when do I sell? I say, well, you should be selling it now. Just because of the looming series of events that happen usually in November, December, like people are going to be farming their taxes. But on the actual chart itself, there's a big section that is like a perfect sell in, I guess, 2024. And that will be like $130 range, $140 range. I will be very, very comfortable with selling that area. I think we can't be over exuberant with that kind of stuff. I know we want to think about like Solana at $500, but give it another bull run. Wait it out.
Yeah.
Maybe in another 5 years, when we buy again at like, I don't know, $50 Solana, we'll be laughing again. But you can't be what I call a moon boy, right? You got to make sure you have a level head and find a spot on the chart to sell and be happy with it.
Yeah, it's important to keep your expectations realistic, and if more happens, then it's just a bonus. But go into things with a clear head and take advantage of opportunities, and don't ever think you missed out on anything, because there's always going to be another opportunity if you did.
That's right. And the most important thing is to have a plan when you're trading, right? So have an entry plan, have an exit plan, and stick to it.
Yeah, I agree. And I do that with most of what I hold, but there are two that I'm not going to be selling no matter what. They're long-term holds, and I don't play the sell high, buy low game. I just hold, and Solana is one of them. XRP will be the other one. Those are the two that I'm not going to play with those. They're in my ledger. They're not leaving my ledger until a date to be determined in the future. But I agree. And the advice you gave for those that are doing trading of Solana and others, that right now is a pretty good time, because I've got the chart up now, and Solana has bumped up just 150% this month alone. Anybody who got Solana, say 2 months ago, or if they did buy during the FTX dip, now is a really good time for anyone that is thinking about taking profits.
Yeah, the turmoil that Solana's been through over the past few years with transactions and then FTX and everything else, and the way they've pulled through all of that and still managed to pull ahead strong in comparison to the majority of the altcoin market is absolutely incredible. Well,
for me, it was a no-brainer. I mean, while everyone else was screaming that Solana keeps on crashing and how bad of a network or a blockchain it is, they were forgetting that Solana was building the entire time in the bear market. They were building behind the scenes, making partnerships, as Chart alluded to. Their own cell phone and security measures that went in that. That's all you had to look at. Like, that was enough for me to say, oh, these guys are building. They are not staying resting on their laurels. They're trying to advance, and that was enough for me. And then I did my research on Solana and fell in love. I mean, I know they say don't fall in love with a coin or a certain project, but Solana is one that's going to be around for a long time, as we all can probably agree. And I just knew it was the right decision, as did many, as we can tell by the price going up. I'm sure a lot of it is institution, but retail is in there as well. I wanted to welcome Juan. Sorry to keep you waiting so long. Thank you for your patience. I wanted to get your take on Solana. I know that's one of the ones that you like as well.
Hey guys, yeah, definitely excited to see the what's happening with Solana. Very excited. It's always been a great project. I think that right now the market is just trying to find what the value of Solana truly is. I think with any stock, everybody has its ebbs and flows, but then it kind of just finds its value. And I think it was weird to see it decoupled from BTC for a while and kind of stand on its own. And I think that just kind of shows the monstrosity that Solana has behind its back, as far as power and drive from the retail segment. With that being said, right, I think eventually it'll have a little waning period. I think it's still going to flow with the market, maybe a little higher. Like for example, today, Bitcoin really didn't move down that much, but Solana took a dip. So that's a great example of where, again, trying to just find that value. But eventually, like Chuck said, you're going to find a great value discount. I would keep my eye out for it. And then I think it's going to be a strong proponent in the next couple of years where it'll probably be near $500, if Elon Musk has anything to say about it. And just a quick update for that.
Thanks, appreciate that. The other thing I wanted to mention too before we get too late in the stream is that every Thursday at noon Eastern on Twitter Spaces, actually the dgenz team, they have a. Do you guys even have a name for that stream, or is it just hop on and education? Instylus?
The one that we had today on Thursday.
Yeah, every Thursday at noon. Yeah.
Yeah, we called it Crypto Weekly. This is the space where Chart is discussing chart. And I hope that we will actually bring it to YouTube or to stream it somehow too, because he just needs to show what he's talking about. But we were holding it on X for a while. And I usually had my own stream. I mean, not stream yet, but hopefully will be streamed too. On Wednesdays, it's Art Network. And it's more for artists and creatives in Web3. So we have event on Wednesday at noon Eastern, and then Crypto Weekly on Thursday. And this is where you can hear everything about crypto. It's all charts domain.
Yeah, it's I love the program. Unfortunately I can't interact as much as I would like to because I'm at work listening to it on my earbuds while I work away doing the 9 to 5 slaving.
Right, but you always leave really good comments. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I really enjoy listening. It's very informative, and anyone that is either been in the space for a while or you're new in the space, it's a great platform to educate yourself, much like our stream here. And as for the charting, one of these streams, I'm going to get you up here with your chart. You can do some TA for us. It's always a pleasure watching and listening to your TA. Juan, did you have anything else to add? What do you have going on lately, brother? Haven't heard from you in about a week.
Same old. Continue to build behind the scenes, working on some stuff. Not ready yet to release. But on the other side, just keep an eye on the market. I think for those who are trying to build for the bull market, this is the time to keep an eye on what's happening. It's not the time to buy, but it's definitely the time to kind of really keep your eye on there. I still think that I see Bitcoin around 32. I think I see it at the end of the month, kind of around that range. I called it about a month ago, but we'll see. There's a lot of push for it to be bigger. And everything else goes with Bitcoin. So, for the most part, Solana being one of those exceptions. XRP probably going to be an exception. And I think how the election rolls is probably going to have an effect. I'm wondering what effect Trump being found guilty or innocent will have in the market. I don't think he does much as far as promoting crypto, but I think the freedom that he kind of interjects into the crypto market, and I guess that free regulation reign kind of plays a role there. So, things to keep an eye out for now. And excited to be here. Love you guys. I think what you guys are bringing is awesome, and can't wait for the next segment.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
One more comment before we wrap it up here. I don't know what's going to happen in the next couple of days, but Dip, I was showing you there's a thing circulating about some buy ups and stuff like that happening in the market. We'll have to wait and see. I don't want to spread any rumors or anything, but there seems to be something that's being planned and that's going to happen in the next couple of days that's supposed to help or start a pump in the market. We'll see. A lot of it has to do with the ETFs applications and approvals, but like I said, this is all just Telegram rhetoric, so I don't know if any of it holds water. But I wanted to thank Chart and Instylus for coming on from the dgenz NFT project. Love what you guys have going on. Your Discord is amazing. It's very, very interactive and informative. and you have a great community. Glenn, did you have any last words?
Yeah, I've been trying to stay quiet so Charton and Stylus had a chance to talk in uninterrupted by me. But yeah, I did join your spaces today and had it playing in my earbuds while I was doing some editing here on the computer. And I have to say, both of you are fantastic orators, and I strive to be as good as you guys are when it comes to public speaking. And yeah, I absolutely was tickled by Chart's TA, even though I might foresee some differences. He ended it off with the same thing I would have, is caution. Just right now, just be cautious. And that's probably the biggest take and the most you could get out of investing right now is just don't jump on any bandwagons as of yet, because there's too much going on to be sure.
I want to promote one more chart master in our Discord here. If you will be inviting Chart to show his technical analysis, please consider to invite Terry and just Terry, because they are such a balanced duo. Terry is much more cautious than Chart, and when they start to discuss the same tokens, it's just so interesting to hear their takes on that. They agree for the most part, but sometimes Terry gives like a little bit different sense. So it's really, really interesting to see these differences in their approach.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there.
We both have, I have the way more conservative investment approach where it's always wait for a retest, and he's right on the TA going, I'm going to catch this move, so.
Well,
right now it's actually pretty interesting. Right now it's pretty interesting because we're in the shorters market. Everything feels like it's going to be a shorter's heaven, including with Solana and AVAX, which I've been shorting for the last 2 days. And so like the trick is to find the right moments to short, because there's lots of good moves. So if you know how to do it, it's a season.
And it would be a scary time to get too greedy at it because of the institutional money flowing around. It can be reversed on you very, very quickly. So I wouldn't leave anything unattended.
Oh, exactly. What I was going to comment on that is you're looking at time frames of minutes, not hours. Minutes, right? That's the best way to do them. When you're shorting markets, unless you know for sure we're in a full-on bear market, they always say, sell the rips, buy the dips, right? So if you're in a bear market, if there's a rip, you sell it as much as you can. So right now we're in an in-between market, but we're approaching bear market again, like short-term bear market. So we should be able to short as much as we can.
Very short-term bear market. I agree with you there. Okay, once again, thank you guys for joining us. It was amazing to have you on. Chart and Silas, you're always welcome. We do this every Thursday, 7 p.m. I want to give a special shout out to Black Cat Syndicate. You're always in the background, always supporting. I appreciate it, brother. Yes. And it was a great stream. For anyone that needs any of the information, any links, check the description below. Please like the video, subscribe, leave any comment. We obviously read all the comments and we will answer every single one of you. Dip, any last comments?
No, thanks for everybody showing up tonight. And this was a fantastic stream. It was very easy for me. Having the difficulty speaking to a camera to be able to listen to some professionals do what they do best. I absolutely love the NFT idea. I love how it integrated into my rant at the beginning of the stream, where of the importance of investing in a balanced portfolio to maintain value in anything, right? So kudos to you guys for doing that in the NFT space and giving people opportunity. It's going to be a game changer going forward. And hopefully projects like yours are the ones that start pushing out all the rugs and just massive hype sales and disappear, right? So I'm very impressed. I encourage everybody to look into it further, and I will be doing the same thing.
All right. Thank
Thanks,
you, everybody. I appreciate everyone being on. Check all the links in the description
stick
below.
around and chat as soon as I end the stream here. Yeah, that would be another thing that I'm going to mention. Last week, we stopped the stream and kept our guests on, and we had quite the conversation afterwards. It's fantastic to hear when you don't have, I guess, the rules of social media dictating what you can and can't say. To be a fly on the wall during that conversation would have been an absolute game changer for a lot of people. And yeah, if there's anybody watching that would be interested in something like that on a different platform, where after the stream, then you get to hear where us and guests and everything are actually spending our money and what we're bullish about and doing in the market without fear of giving financial advice or pumping a bad project or anything along those lines, just to know what's going on in the space with no, I don't know, boundaries would be the best word. Let us know in the comments and we'll get something like that set up. And yeah, I invite everybody here to stick around and we can do that again tonight, and it's a good time.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you so much, guys. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for having us, guys.